That'd be preferable. So hello and welcome to another episode of Marvel Therapy Group. I'm your host Jack. With me as always is Joe Barnes. Haley, our third host, couldn't be here today, but we're still going to try to power through and do an episode without her.
She's sick and has a lot of meetings today.
It's a good sound effect. So today what we're doing is we're doing a new segment on our show, although since our show is new, I guess every segment would be new at the moment. But we're doing a segment called the Monthly Roundup. Thank you, Joe. And what we're planning to do in these segments is we're going to look back over the past month and all the news, releases, the big events from Marvel, the things that are making us the most excited, and talk a little bit about them.
That's right.
And we have a full docket today, so let's just dive right in with what's probably the biggest news of the month, which was we finally got a Captain Marvel trailer.
Right.
So
we got a teaser trailer.
Teaser trailer, right.
There's apparently a difference. I don't know. But it was cool.
So Joe, I'm going to start out. What do you think was your favorite part of the trailer?
Probably the part where she's hanging upside down and she's got like these streams of light going into her head.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what that was about, but the costume was really cool.
I know, everything looked really cool from the trailer. Like, I mean, like that scene when she's in, like, it was like a train station or a bus station or something, and it's like she's
when
in
she
that
punches
costume.
the old lady.
Yes, that was so cool.
That old lady's definitely a Skrull.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
100%.
Yeah. And people couldn't figure that out. Like, how could you not figure that out? It's a Skrull. She's probably like, she's in it. What city is she in? Where is she in the movie?
I don't think they've said it yet. Like, it looks almost like they're going to be in the West a little bit, don't you think? Because they have that one scene where they're driving through the desert.
Yeah, well, either way, no, she's probably like, people don't just smile at you. So it's just like, oh, this person knows who I am. Clearly a Skrull.
Suspicious. Already suspicious if people smile at you.
So it's just punches an old lady, and it's good.
I can say the action for me looked really cool. Like, I mean, the scene with like the car chase and like when the car like smashes into the bus, and the thing where like she jumps up on the subway, I think, and does like a backflip and like fires off her like energy
and
blasts.
she's on a train or something
with
the energy blasts.
Very Spider-Man 2 looking.
It is. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I dig it.
Yeah, and they haven't given away too much. It seems like it's an origin story, but like everything has already happened, and just trying to recall what happened.
Yeah, well, that's I think what they've said. It's sort of like when your movie starts out, she's like fully Captain Marvel, and then somehow she goes back to Earth, and it's kind of like she starts getting all these memories about her life on Earth.
Yeah,
which I think is cool, because I think it's like doing something different than like just a standard origin story.
Oh, it is different, yeah. They're definitely trying to get away from origin stories. Like Spider-Man Homecoming wasn't really an origin story. Well, now this one, it'll definitely be really cool.
I'm excited. Also, I gotta say, Samuel L. Jackson, whatever de-aging technology Marvel has, this is gonna be like the biggest test, but so far, like, it looks pretty good. Like, I'll be honest.
Like
I think you're going a little overboard.
No, yeah, the de-aging technology's amazing. And there's that scene where he takes off his sunglasses and then you like see his face for the first time. Mm-hmm. Like he's been narrating the trailer, but then you see his face and he's like
he's de-aged.
Yeah,
he's like Jurassic Park Samuel L. Jackson.
Did you see much difference with Clark Gregg? They only showed him for a second, but I was like, that's.
He's got like it's got a different haircut. It's a little more like higher up. It's a little like it was like a mullet almost.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has a mullet. Honestly, that seems like.
Oh, I hope so. Maybe he'll be like intern Phil Coulson. He's not that young, but he'll be like starting with S.H.I.E.L.D.
I know.
He'll be excited.
I think it's gonna be cool, but I mean, it's such like this is gonna be such a test of technology to like de-age those guys for like the whole movie. Like, it's one thing to do it for like Robert Downey Jr. and Michael Douglas for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's completely different to do it for like a 2-hour movie.
I think this is gonna be Clark Gregg pre-Captain America. He, like, in the Avengers, that was his thing. He had the Captain America collectible card that he was raving about. He loved Captain America. This is this is Phil Coulson before Captain America. So that's going to be really cool to see what his character is like before he is so invested in the Avengers.
And be honest, are you most excited for the fact that Clark Gregg is going to be in another MCU movie, finally? Is that, like, the number one thing for you?
No, because I've been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've had 5 seasons of him.
Does that know how much he means to you?
Oh, I know. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is my life.
I'm actually really excited for Ronan to come back, because I like Ronan, I think, more than a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. Like, I think for, like, the Phase 2 villains, when those kind of, like, oh, all the MCU villains are bland. I thought he was like at least like one of the least bland ones.
And it was a different spin on the villains. It was like a political thriller for him.
I'm excited. I'm excited he's gonna come back and they're gonna flesh him out a little bit. And
let's talk about that. Is because the Kree, they always flip-flop depending on, and there's so many different factions of the Kree that depending on like what character you're reading about, they can either be the villains or the good guys. So where do you think the Kree are going to be in this movie?
I don't think they'll be good or bad. I think they're going, because it must be they're in a war with the Skrulls. Like, it must be they're, like, fighting the Skrulls. So, I mean, I suppose, like, neither side is probably going to be exactly, like, right or wrong, you know? Like, I know they say the Skrulls are going to be the bad guys, but I can see it sort of being, like, neither side is, like, doing something, like, explicitly evil. Like, they think they're doing the right thing, you know?
Oh, yeah. Marvel's definitely gone that way, where the, moral ambiguity with the villains. So, yeah, I bet you can definitely see both sides with the Skrulls and the Kree. But because Captain Marvel's background is based in the Kree, I think that we're gonna sort of be looking at the Kree through rose goggles.
Yeah, I could see that.
So like we think they're doing the right thing.
I could even see something like she's kind of brainwashed, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
And like that's why she doesn't remember her life back on Earth.
Yep, and that's where the weird light strands going to her head.
Also, one thing I'm excited about from this trailer, Jude Law.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for Jude Law. I feel like Jude Law is like actor you always forget about, and then he like suddenly pops up and you're like, oh yeah, I love Jude Law.
Right, I feel like everyone's done that, because now he's going to be in the second Fantastic Beasts movie, Crimes of Grindelwald, and everyone's like, oh, it's Jude Law.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm excited Jude Law is popping his head up again and he's doing things because, you know, Jude Law is amazing, let's be honest. I don't think that's a controversial opinion.
I think his character is also going to be good, because he's got to be like Captain Marvel's mentor.
They think he's going to be Captain Marvel, but they haven't come right out and said it.
Right. Captain Marvel, and then he'll probably either die, most likely die, which is, then that will spark her to be like, oh, I'm Captain Marvel now, gotta save the universe.
And then, do you
crashing
think
into a blockbuster.
Do you think they're going to tie right into Avengers 4 at the end of this movie?
I think, if anything, it'll be post-credits scene. But you know what I'm thinking? She's been missing for almost 30 years now. She's in the Soul Stone. She probably... Maybe the Korean Skrull War is the beginning of the search for the Infinity Stones, and they're looking for the Soul Stone, and Captain Marvel finds it, but it, like, traps her, and but somehow she makes it hidden, because it's supposedly the most powerful stone. So she hides it, and then it, like, traps her.
My theory before Avengers 3 was that she was going to have one of the stones, and it was like the movie was going to end with, like, Thanos getting almost all of them, and then she would crash the Earth with the last one.
Would be her crashing, and her
I was wrong about that, but...
Yeah. No, I think that she's going to be in the Soul... Or, at the end of her movie, she'll be in the Soul Stone, make some big sacrifice, and then... Maybe the reactivation of the Soul Stone, she'll be teaming up with Gamora in Avengers 4. And Gamora and her will, like, kick butt from within the Soul Stone, and it'll all...
The only thing about that is she has to be somewhere where, like, Nick Fury can reach her with his pager.
Right.
Is the only thing. But yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to see that. Alright, so overall pretty positive on the Captain Marvel trailer. And then let's go on to the next big news from the MCU, which was...
this was recently, at the time we're recording, this is recent news. And it's really common sense news, but Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, has said that, yes, the X-Men properties with the Fox merger are going to go to Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. Clearly. Why wouldn't they?
Yes, well,
I don't really know why this is news.
It seems like pretty easy math. Disney likes money. Kevin Feige makes the money. A plus B equals C.
Right, Marvel properties go to Marvel Studios. Where else are they gonna go? They're gonna be like, oh, Sony, you want a deal?
Yeah.
I'll trade the X-Men for Spider-Man.
It's cool.
No.
I'll be interested to see if Kevin Feige always had like some secret plan of like what to do if they ever got the X-Men back.
Yeah, what do you think is gonna happen? I mean, it's gonna be a long time still before we actually see the X-Men, but they definitely have a lot of windows of opportunity to bring the X-Men in through Soul Stones or Doctor Strange, alternate dimensions. Or they could even start the entire universe over again, and maybe, again, with the Infinity Stones, it somehow opened up the X genes in people. And
I could see that. I think that
there's a lot of ways they could go.
The only thing I wonder if maybe it's gonna be like, maybe they could do something where it's like Magneto and Professor X have been. Like, maybe, like, really powerful mutants have always existed, but they've always kind of been, like, in secret.
Oh,
and
that's
then,
another
like, at the
thing
end
that-
of the movie, like, the Infinity Stones open up, like, the exchange to all these other people.
Yeah, that's another thing that Xavier could like constantly wipe the minds of everyone, which
Yeah.
I don't like that idea.
But I can see it.
But you're right, yeah.
I feel like that's definitely something. It's like, you definitely need, like, you can't just have Professor X, Wolverine, and Magneto just suddenly appear. I think they're the
Yeah.
three characters that need, like, a history.
Yep.
But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Jean Grey and Cyclops and Storm, especially Storm, because Storm has such a rich history. But yeah, all those.
That'd be
Rogue
fun.
has a really good story. They're trying to make a Gambit movie, but and Gambit.
Oh, they're 100% just rebooting everything. They don't want anything Fox touched.
Yeah. Yeah, Jean Grey and Cyclops, and Emma Frost, I guess. Well, I mean, they have all the time in the world to go through all these story arcs, but they really need to establish the characters, and whether they started off as adults or as teenagers doesn't really make a difference to me, because the 2000 and 2002 movies, and the next three, which we those movies aren't really good, and they started off as adults, like just full-fledged X-Men. So it really doesn't make a difference to me which way they go. But the main issue now is that they bring in teenaged characters and don't develop them at all, and suddenly throw them and pit them against Apocalypse. But we're not talking about that right now.
Overall, X-Men coming to Kevin Feige, good news, makes sense.
Yes.
Disney gets lots of money, everybody wins.
True.
Alright, so let's move on to another big release for September,
Yes!
which was Iron Fist Season
2.
And I have a lot of opinions about Iron Season 2.
That's good, because life got in the way and I have not watched it yet. But in my defense, it's been out for like 4 days. A week? I don't know.
It's been out for a while.
No, it's been like a week. I've only watched 1.5 episodes, so talk about it. Non-spoilery.
Okay, so, for the record, I really hated Iron Fist Season 1. I think it's the worst thing Marvel Netflix has done. It was boring, it was, I don't know, honestly, Finn Jones he wasn't like, I thought he was a miscast, I didn't think he was right for the part, no offense to him, it's just, you needed someone with a little more, like, presence, I thought, someone who could actually, like, do kung fu. And it definitely had it had its moments. Ward Meacham towards the end of Season 1 was really good. Colleen was great all around. But, yeah, Iron Fist Season 1, hated it, and I thought it honestly started, like, this negative trend with, like, Marvel Netflix shows where, like, people kind of started expecting the worst. But, yeah, Iron Fist Season 2, I was not excited about it. I was like, oh, cool, they're releasing it.
So let me just chime in here. I liked Iron Fist this first season. It was entertaining. I liked the characters. The characters actually all had an interlocking storyline, which I think is an issue with Jessica Jones Season 2. Anyway, I liked Season 1. Go on.
But yeah, I will say, after watching Season 2, this is big for me to say, I really want them to make a Season 3. I really do, because
They had laugh. No, applause.
I mean, you can laugh. But they did so many things that worked in this season. Number one, they went from 13 episodes to 10 episodes, so it really picked up the pace a little bit. There wasn't as much meandering. Things, like, moved along, which I really appreciated. Also, it really encouraged me to actually watch the show, because I was like, alright, it's 10 episodes, I can do it. Alice Eve as Typhoid Mary, that's, like, she wowed me from, like, her first scene. She was really, really good.
So, I had heard that Typhoid Mary was going to be in Jessica Jones Season 2. Like, that was the rumor that I had heard.
That was the rumor because the person they got to play, spoiler alert, her mom looked a lot like Typhoid Mary would in the comics.
Okay. So I was expecting that, and when I was watching Season 2 of Jessica Jones, before we knew that it was, her family relation, I thought it was Typhoid Mary, and then I was like, oh, this is so cool, but then it ended up being that other person. So because like I said, I'm only 1.5 episodes in, they introduced a character called Mary, and I'm like, oh, there she is. So I'm excited to see what happens with her.
She's really good though, right? Like she's like really creepy. Like that end
is.
scene where like she goes into her apartment and she has all like the post-it notes. Like
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't get it, but it was like I kind of got it because I know the character and I know she has like multiple personalities. But
and then she
that was
turns
really...
on the all the water. I don't know what that's about still, but that was pretty cool. This is definitely going to be a better portrayal of Typhoid Mary than in the Elektra movie.
I've never seen that movie. I didn't even know she was in it.
Yeah, so Typhoid Mary in the Elektra movie just had a power where she could, like, wither things. Like, make things wither and die. And that was it.
That's not even close to what she could do.
I know.
But yeah, I'll say, having watched all of Iron Fist Season 2, I'd put Typhoid Mary up as, like, one of the best villains in the Marvel Netflix, which is big
awesome.
because, yeah, I think Marvel Netflix has the 2 best villains in the MCU overall.
Kilgrave and Typhoid Mary now?
And no, Kilgrave and Wilson Fisk. I don't know why I blanked on that name.
Okay,
I think they're the 2 best villains in the
I can agree
MCU.
with that.
And yeah, I would put Typhoid Mary, like, I would put Typhoid Mary up there, like, as one of the, like, as a really good villain in Marvel Netflix, which is really good. It was just saying a lot, because they had such high villains on Marvel Netflix.
Yeah, I was going to get into this later, but, so I feel the same way about Mariah Dillard, or Stokes, depending on where you're watching in Luke Cage. But, these villains are really good villains,
Yeah.
but compared to the MCU, they pale, because it's like they have street-level problems, where, like, Mariah Dillard's trying to take over Harlem, but here comes Thanos and kills half the entire universe. So it's almost like if Mariah Dillard or Typhoid Mary or Wilson Fisk, like, they work so hard, I don't know about Typhoid Mary, but these two work so hard to take over and, like, control their own branches of their cities, and if they just died from a snap, it's... They pale.
I'll be interested to see if they ever, like, actually, like, say who died in the snap in Marvel Netflix, or if they just skate right over it, but, I mean, at the same time, like, you wouldn't want Luke Cage fighting a Thanos as, like, his main villain. Like, a street-level hero, street-level villain.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good balance, but yeah. So Typhoid Mary was a really big plus for me, and then another big plus, they brought Misty Knight on as, like, a full-time cast member.
In Iron Fist?
Yeah, in Iron Fist Season 2. She comes in around episode 4.
Like Daughters of the Dragon?
Yeah, there's a lot of Daughters of the Dragon stuff going on.
That's cool.
It definitely like shows Netflix should just do it. Just give them a spin-off show with Colleen and Misty Knight. Everybody wants it. Every time they're together, they prove why they deserve one.
Yeah.
But yeah, she definitely brought a lot to the show. I love Misty Knight. And honestly, her coming to the show was a big reason for me watching it, because I wanted to see more Misty Knight. Wanted to see more her and Colleen Wing. And definitely the way they ended Season 3 is so rewarding. It made me so happy. It made me want a Season 3, honestly. It really did. I was so happy the way they ended Season 2. Like, it made the whole season worth it, honestly. Like, all the problems with Iron Fist Season 2, I still think it's, like, the weakest show on Marvel Netflix.
Okay.
But, honestly, the way they ended it, I was so happy. I was cheering. I was just, like, so overjoyed. So yeah, everybody should just watch to the end of the season, because it's 100% worth it.
Alright, I'm excited. I can't wait. Although I was excited for it anyway, just because it's, Marvel. Yeah, going back to Wilson Fisk. Yes, I'd forgotten how good that character is. And it's not, like, the writing is great for the character, but the actor himself, because it's a human. I mean, obviously, but he makes the character very human. And I just remember watching the first season where Wilson Fisk was introduced, and I was like, this is amazing. This isn't just a villain. This is, like, you can totally relate to this character. It was great.
I know there were times you were almost like rooting for him, because he does see himself as, like, the hero of the story. Like, he sees Daredevil as the villain.
So does Mariah Dillard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which brings us to Daredevil Season 3.
Yes!
Woo!
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm rewatching Daredevil right now, and I'm so excited for Season 3. Daredevil's my favorite character. I love Charlie Cox so much.
Yeah, you met him.
I met him at Comic-Con, so we are personal friends.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's been too long. We've missed Daredevil for too long. I'm very excited.
Yeah, last time we saw him was in Defenders, and that was not a happy ending for him. Yeah.
I mean, it could have been worse. Like.
Another thing about Luke Cage Season 2 and Iron Fist, Iron Fist. They address the Defenders, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
They bring the characters in. Foggy came in a bunch of times to Luke Cage Season 2.
I always like when that happens.
Colleen Wing came in, and apparently Mr. Knight goes into Iron Fist Season 2. They address it. They talk about Jessica Jones and Daredevil. I loved it.
I know. I'm glad Netflix has realized, like, everybody likes the supporting characters almost as much as the main heroes.
Right.
And I like how they'll go over and, like, cross over you when the main heroes won't.
Yeah, it's so good. And especially Claire, obviously, because Claire is the Nick Fury of the Defenders. Oh, Claire. Nothing happened to Claire, but...
Yeah, we all love Claire.
Have you seen the trailer, the teaser trailer for Daredevil 3?
I have. I'm excited about it. It doesn't give away too much.
Which one was that? Describe it, because I think I've seen it.
I saw the one where he's in the confessional, and
I heard about that one. I haven't seen it.
I think that one might have been like a post-credit scene for Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm.
That I just accidentally saw like ahead of time because they had it on the Facebook page for Daredevil or Netflix.
Yeah,
or something,
maybe I did see that because it was the one where he was just like, it was really dark.
Everything has been really dark for this season.
I was so for it. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm excited, but like I'm rewatching Daredevil season 1, and Daredevil season 1, the first 2 episodes are really, really dark. So I don't know like how much like dark. I don't know what like how much darker they can get, but they're apparently gonna try to go darker. So
he's gonna get the black and red suit, I think.
I saw they have pictures of him in like the black suit.
Yeah. Well, it's black, but like with the red eyes.
Oh really?
I think red horns. It's very dark, just to reiterate that. But I'm so for it. I'm looking forward to it. Going on with the Marvel Netflix shows was Luke Cage Season 2, which was recently released. And that was amazing. So I'm the opposite of Jack, where I didn't like Luke Cage Season 1 because I thought it was slow and it was a little boring to me. Until the end. The ending got pretty good. But Season 2 was stunning for the story. And I have 2.5 pages of notes, so here we go. I'll make it as unspoilery as possible because you haven't seen it yet.
Mm.
But I have to say that the actress that plays Mariah Dillard, Alfre Woodard, was amazing. Because she was able to play so many different types of characters as Mariah Dillard, or Stokes, again, depending on what part of the season you're on. It was an amazing story arc. And the season started off where she's trying to get out of the gun business. She's trying to sell her... her family got all her money from selling guns to the streets and to the gangs, and she's trying to get out of it because she has shades, she's in love, she has Harlem's Paradise, she thinks that she's on top, and she's like, I don't want this on my conscience anymore. And she tries to get rid of it. She tries to get rid of her guns by selling it to more gangs, but... for the first part of the season, I even texted you. I was like, Mariah Dillard's not a villain. I can totally see what she's doing this season. Because she's trying to sell off everything to the best possible candidate who's not going to like make a mess of things, but without implicating herself, because she is in such a position of power. And then she uses the money to make a Family First initiative, which they actually get into later on, because she had issues with her own daughter. And how that daughter came to be. So she starts a Family First initiative, and they bring in a lot of really heavy issues and make it applicable to these characters.
Mm-hmm. I do like how Luke Cage did. I feel like Luke Cage is like probably the one that goes into the most like social issues and sort of like issues about like race and like community.
Yeah,
I think Luke Cage does that best out of all the
racial
Netflix shows.
inequality is a really good one, especially with Claire's and Luke Cage's fight. That got heavy.
Oh, yeah.
But it was real.
It's crying a little bit.
Really good. So Mariah and the Me Too movement, like I said, it brings in real world scenarios and applies to these characters. And then of course Misty and disabilities. Misty goes through this really intense arc too, which is trying to find out who she is without an arm. She's trying to struggle with like how she failed and lost an arm, but how to recover from it and be the Misty that we know.
And then on the flip side, she gets a really cool robot arm that gives her super strength. So
yeah,
I'm into that.
She won from this. And Mariah Dillard reconnected with her daughter. So again, not a villain until that one moment, which is if you've seen the season, I think it was episode 10, maybe. You know what I'm talking about at Gwen's. Then she becomes a full-on villain. Also, this actress did a really cool thing where when her character gets stressed, because this character went through the ringer in this season, she got everything taken away from her at one point, she built herself up a bunch of times. When she got stressed, she went back to her roots, and she had like this hood accent almost. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah. It delved into her family history a lot. The one issue I had was when I read the description for, again, I think it was episode 10 where they do a lot of flashbacks, I'm like, this is going to be a filler episode. but they did the flashbacks tastefully, and it actually it made the episode pretty good. You were talking earlier about a budget. I think this season definitely had a big budget. There were explosions and gunfire everywhere. It was great.
So you give Luke Cage season 2 a positive review?
110%.
Really?
The season was amazing.
Really?
Too bad about Claire. Like I said earlier, nothing bad happened to her, but she went away, and hope she comes back because we could always use more Claire. However,
that was not to interrupt, but that's definitely what was like really emotional for me about that scene was because like Rosario Dawson was like, I don't know if I'm coming back after this, and so I'm like, could this be our last scene with Claire? Like, no.
Yeah, if that's the last scene, that's a really poor way to send off the character. They have a fight and she leaves. That's not a good way. Oops, spoiled it. But they kind of made they made Misty and Luke come a lot closer once Claire was out of the picture, and so if they sort of become a thing, I'd be perfectly okay with that.
I did like that episode where it's like, I'm not really looking for a sidekick. And Misty's like, who says you're not my sidekick?
Oh, Misty.
They're cute.
Yeah, Mariah had a revelation that, that's spoilery, so I skipped that. But she really gave in to her gangster nature. It was incredible. There's this one scene where I think this is where she really caved in. She's going down a hall with a stolen gun off a guy she just knocked out or killed, and she's just like shooting people as they walk past, and that I think that was a turning point for her. Also, she even got a new haircut afterwards, where she's back in power, back at large. Yeah, so like I said, she wasn't a villain for the majority of the season, but at the same time, if you look at it, they show her bank account. She has over $300 million. So if she really wanted to help Harlem without a guilty conscience, she had the money. She could have done so much more instead of dealing with murder and gangs. And what else do I have? Oh, they brought in Danny